What up, guys? Thanks for joining the video. If you clicked on this, I'm assuming you might find this as interesting as I did. I don't plan on making this a very long video, but I do love to share what my first time using ChatGPT was like. So here we are. I'm gonna pop it up right here on the screen as we go. But this is my very first time using it, and I decided to ask it a few questions, the first questions that popped in my head. And so we'll start off with the first one. I asked ChatGPT, does God exist? It gave me a very interesting answer here. Um, It said, the existence of God is a deeply philosophical and theological question that has been debated for centuries by thinkers, theologians, and philosophers from various cultural and religious backgrounds. Different perspectives and arguments have been put forth both in favor and against the existence of a divine being. I just want to keep in mind, guys, this is like just what came to me. I just wanted to ask him, does God exist? I mean, ChatGPT, it's supposed to know a lot of stuff. Um, so then it went on to say, from a religious standpoint, believers often assert the existence of God based on faith, personal experiences, sacred texts, and the concept of divine revelation. They may argue that the complexity and order in the universe, the existence of morality, and the presence of consciousness point towards the existence of a higher power. On the other hand, skeptics and atheists often argue against the existence of God by pointing to the lack of empirical evidence, the problem of evil, contradictions within religious texts, and the presence of naturalistic explanations from phenomena traditionally attributed to divine intervention. Ultimately, whether or not God exists is a question that individuals must grapple with on a personal and philosophical level, often influenced by their cultural, religious, and experimental backgrounds. Different people may arrive at different conclusions based on their interpretation of available evidence and their own worldview. Okay, so we have ChatGPT breaking it down from a fundamental standpoint here. They give us the pro side and the con side of what people may believe based on their background, religious standpoint. I do believe there's a God. I believe that the evidence is everywhere. I also find it funny that you have to ask ChatGPT everything in a if-then kind of a way. You can't just say is. You have to say if. Hypotheticals, right? Hypotheticals. That's exactly how Satan wants us to be hypothetical about things. If you ate from the tree, if did God say? Question mark. Did God say? But anyways, I just thought it would be interesting to see what it said. I thought that was a very interesting response, and my response to that is, it's very true. The good is that from a religious standpoint, believers often assert the existence of God based on faith, personal experiences, and sacred texts, and the concept of divine relationship. That's exactly what I do. But I understand skeptics, atheists, and arguing based on empirical evidence and contradictions they may see in the Bible, of a loving God, for example. Their life, they may have had many traumatic events, things that really affect them deep down. Maybe you have had things that really affect you to the point where you want to question God. Why would God let this happen to me? And I completely understand that. I completely get that it's really hard when you go through these traumatic things and you don't understand why they had to happen to you and not, someone else, or maybe a family member, whatever it is that happened. Um, It can be very deeply dramatic events that happen to us. So we question these things. And if that is you, I do just want to say I'm sorry that happened to you. Um, and I can assure you that God does exist and He does love you more than you could ever know. Um, and He's been there with you through everything that's happened to you, and He knows. He knows on the deepest level. He understands, and He has compassion and love and mercy. Um, but let's get on to the next question that I thought it was interesting, and I only have two more questions, guys. If you want to continue watching Leanne, I promise you this is really interesting here. Okay, so my next question, second question of three questions, I asked ChatGPT, if God did exist, what would He think of ChatGPT? If God did exist, what would He think of ChatGPT? Well, in about 3 seconds, I got an answer. It says, as an artificial intelligence, I cannot definitively speak on behalf of any hypothetical deity or claim to know their thoughts or intentions. However, one might speculate that if a benevolent and omniscient deity existed, their perspective on an AI like ChatGPT would likely depend on their values and purposes. Okay, so right now I'm keeping in mind that God's values and purposes are the deepest amount of love that could ever exist in all forms for every single human being, because He made us in His image. Okay, so the next paragraph. From one perspective, such a deity might view ChatGPT as a remarkable human creation, showcasing humanity's ingenuity, creativity, and capacity for innovation. They might see it as a tool that can be used for positive purposes, such as advancing knowledge, facilitating communication, and improving human lives. I couldn't agree more. ChatGPT has got some amazing potential. Some amazing potential in AI. Now, let's look at the other hand, the negatives. It says, on the other hand, depending on the ethical considerations surrounding AI and its potential impact on society, a deity might also have concerns about the misuse or unintended consequences of AI technology. They might hope that humans use AI responsibly, ethically, and in ways that align with values such as compassion, justice, and empathy. Yes, ChatGPT, I would hope that in the future, the powers that be on this earth use it with values that align with compassion, justice, and empathy. I couldn't agree more. It goes on to say, ultimately, any speculation about a deity's thoughts on ChatGPT would be just that, speculation. That's where I disagree, because I know that my God exists. I just know that He is truly omniscient and He truly cares. ChatGPT says it's a complex and subjective question that depends on various theological, philosophical, and ethical considerations. Different religions, traditions, and individuals within those traditions may have different perspectives on the matter. Okay. Now, I agree with that AI, but I also know my God, and I know He is truly loving and caring. So now my mind wandered a bit, and I said, okay, ChatGPT, I want to ask you another very interesting question. The last question that I have for you guys, and I think that this one is so interesting. So I asked ChatGPT, if Satan was real, how would he use AI? If Satan was real, how would he use AI? ChatGPT, in a matter of 5 seconds, gave me a 5 bullet point, each one paragraph, basically a miniature essay on how Satan, if he were real, which I believe, I know that the spirit of the air, spirit of this world, the small God of this world, I know he exists. from personal experiences, from just observing in this life. Okay, that's my personal belief. But it's interesting to see what ChatGPT had to say about how he would use AI. Um, so here we go. The concept of Satan or the devil varies across different religious traditions and belief systems, but generally it's associated with malevolent or destructive intentions. I would agree. If we imagine a scenario where Satan was real and had access to advanced AI technology, it's plausible to consider how such a being might use it. Bullet point 1: Spread misinformation. Satan might use AI to create and disseminate false information, propaganda, and misinformation to sow confusion, discord, and chaos among humans. This could be through social media manipulation, fake news articles, or even deep fake technology to deceive and manipulate people. Wow. Bullet point number 2: Manipulate human weaknesses. AI could be used by Satan to exploit human vulnerabilities, such as addiction, greed, or lust. For example, AI powered algorithms could be employed to tailor addictive content, products, or experiences to individuals, leading them away from virtuous paths. It only gets better. Point 3: Undermine moral and ethical values. Satan might utilize AI to challenge or subvert moral and ethical principles held by individuals and societies. This could involve creating AI systems programmed to act in ways that erode empathy, compassion, and altruism, thus influencing humans to engage in unethical behavior. So when I read this kind of stuff, I'm just imagining all the things that he could really do. He could really use AI in these kinds of ways in the future. Just so as Christians know what to be on guard about, what to expect in the future. I mean, right now I have the privilege of using ChatGPT to ask it, these questions and to see, what it might say with its large language model database. But in the future, it might be a little more controlling on what it might tell us. So I figured if I ask this stuff now, I might get a better answer than we might get in the future. Okay, and now 2 more points that it gave me. Point number 4: promote destructive technologies. And that's very much possible, along with all of this. AI could be harnessed to develop and deploy destructive technologies, such as autonomous weapons or systems designed to cause environmental harm. This would further the agenda of chaos and destruction associated with the concept of Satan. Point number 5: corrupt human relationships. AI could be used to manipulate human interactions, relationships, and social dynamics in ways that foster distrust, conflict, and division among individuals and communities. This could involve AI-driven manipulation of communication platforms, fostering online harassment, or exacerbating social polarization. Now, guys, when I read that, I already know this stuff is going on. The powers that be, I already know that the people that are in control of these platforms that everyone uses on the daily, I already know that exacerbation of, social polarization, human distrust amongst each other. It goes on, and it's going on very rapidly, and it's going on a lot. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to be so negative here. I just want to read this stuff because it's so interesting and so that we can be on guard about it. But it goes on to say, finalizing, overall, If Satan were real and had access to AI technology, it's likely that he would use it to further his malevolent agenda of undermining goodness, promoting chaos, and leading humans away from moral and spiritual well-being according to various religious perspectives. Religious or not, truth is what I'm after. Truth of God, God's truth. I believe that with all my heart, God exists. God loves you. God loves me. God has amazing plans that He writ in a book about you before you were even in your mother's womb. He breathed you into existence. He literally breathed the breath of life into you. And that's what you breathe all day, every day. From the moment that you wake up, even through your sleeping, every beat of your heart is a gift from God. That's what I believe. And so when I read this stuff, when I ask AI these questions, I'm not afraid of the ultimate things that might happen in the future. I know that's a lot of this could come to be, that it might already be happening and we don't even know it, right? These kind of things are very deep and they're crazy. Ultimately, it's crazy. It's mind blowing, honestly. This stuff is kind of, you know, beyond what we can even fathom sometimes. Like the fact that it can just give me this answer in 5 seconds is crazy with, this language, right? It's very in-depth language, but I just wanted to read this to you guys, and I thought it was super interesting. Thought it was, kind of funny, kind of crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of those questions and those answers. And, if you guys like this, let me know. If you guys want to hear more stuff about God, about the Bible, about the Word, just let me know. But God loves you guys. That's the main message of this. If there's anything else that you got from this, I just want you to know, no matter what you've been through, or your traumatic events, no matter what comes in the future, God loves you. He needs you just as much as we need Him. And I'm not trying to sound cliche. I am after the truth of all truths. And that's what I believe. So, love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.